Hey, welcome to another episode of Knights and Dolphins. And like I said, we have on the show today a special guest, Majestic X. He's been one of the longest running players in Knights and Dragons, and he started way early on, back when like those alliances were forming and stuff. So I don't want to say too much about him. I'd like him to introduce himself, and I want to say welcome to the show, X. Really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Brad. It's a pleasure to be here myself.
Hey, right on. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, because I've kind of been curious myself to know, how did you get started in this game and how long ago was that?
I started about, almost 2 years ago. And it's funny because my son was the first person to actually start playing this game. And I used to just help him from time to time. And as the weeks went on, he got bored playing the game. And I continued playing it because it reminded me of like Final Fantasy when I was a kid. And then, as the guilds came out, I hopped around a few guilds. I ended up in Media Pirates for a while. We started falling apart, and next thing I know, I applied to Immortals, and the rest from there.
Okay.
I jumped from stick and around.
You said the rest from there. How many accounts were you running at your busiest time, at your peak?
At my peak, I would say 4 accounts at once.
Wow.
Yeah, it got a little up there. Run T1s and T10s and T25s all in the same wars.
Right. Wow.
It was a busy weekend, to say at least.
So, as you did all those different runs, do you have like some particular memorable runs that really stand out in your mind as you think back on all the ones that you did?
The scavenger raid with the Immortals top 10 when, we were stuck at like 13th, and all of us, we combined together as one, and that was the raid where stacking was invented, where a lot of the guilds now do on top runs to get themselves an extra boost right before the raid ends, so they can sneak into top 50, 25, or top 10, whichever their closest, tier is.
Sure.
And, the other one was Immortals #1 raid, Chaotic Hellguard, when that was the time when all the guilds were locked into one place after Blitz. Nobody was able to move over.
Mm.
And it just showed that Immortals as a whole is a very strong team. And, there's the whole raid, we were #1. There wasn't a second. We weren't. Everybody kept on pushing hard. Everybody barely slept.
That's kind of something you got to do at the top, though, right? Is you don't get a lot of sleep when you go onto these runs that I don't think non-alliance players realize, like how intense it is going top 10 and especially top 3, right?
Top 3, it's really intense because you either got to have a good relief hitter or you just need a whole weekend free because you got to hit, and hit. Yep. That's the difference between Epic Wars and Raids. Raids are cheaper, but it's more time consuming.
Sure.
Where in Epic, you can jump in and do hit a GM strip and get your mins quick.
Yeah, because you're posting 200K plus in a war, so that's not very long then if you get a GM strip. So
you got 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a little different.
Yep.
It takes a little bit of time.
Yep.
But you should always make sure you have a good relief hitter when you go in top 3.
Absolutely. Hey, so let me ask you something. This show's called Knights and Dolphins. We try to sort of make fun of this and the lighter side of this game that we all play because we take it so serious. So in all your years, do you have a most memorable leech? Somebody that you just couldn't believe that person was a leech or that the excuse they came up with. Tell us about a leech.
Wow. It's funny you actually say that because was it the raid I was just in Selfless Giants, in the top track they had for Helga, there was a kid whose girlfriend came on like in the hour after raid started, and she was saying that how he was dead in a coma. And it was just very odd the way she was saying it. And it seemed like she didn't care. She was, or maybe he's dead, maybe he's alive. I don't know. But I'm going to play the game anyway. It's like, if your boyfriend's really in a coma or dead, don't you think he would want to be by his side and not worry about the game?
You would think so. So maybe this quote girlfriend could have just been that person. This guy they create an alternate line account probably and do that. That's ridiculous saying they're in a coma.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's just if you're gonna leech, it is what it is. Like it's hard to complain about a leash because it's our standard. It's nothing like Greed has,
Right.
rules against.
Sure.
It's basically like our standards.
Sure.
As players.
Yep.
We feel like everybody, should be able to put those points up.
Sure.
Especially if you go on to a top run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about everybody coming together and doing their part. Yeah. So, okay, you've talked about a couple of runs that were your favorites. Can you tell everybody what's one of your favorite armors? And it doesn't have to be your strongest, whatever. Just what's in this game. What's one of your favorite armors?
Armors. Waystone is one of my absolute favorites. It's always been one of my favorites. Obviously, Hellguard, since that was Immortal's top one. And trying to think. I think Forsaken would be my top three. Those would be my top three armors.
No, there's some good armors. Yeah, that's great. So, and all the time that you've been playing now, you've seen a lot of different changes, that Gree has put into the game. What do you think the best change has been over the years that you really just enjoy it now? You're happy that they did that and they changed it.
Yeah, I like the heroic mode because it gives the people who can't get like plus epics or people who don't have the money to or don't want to spend on this game. That gives them the chance to get a plus epic. Gives them a little stronger into the game. I like the heroic mode.
Yeah.
It was a very good addition. They made it a little hard for a while when they were just doing 1 week.
Yeah.
You needed good armors, especially with the draft rate. It was hard. It was tough.
No, it was tough.
Most people did it.
Remember that it cost me roughly 350 gems for each of those because I went through with the mono heroics, to get the pluses. And once I started past the third one, I was like, I have to do it. And it was expensive and very time consuming to get those. So, yeah, it was a challenge. I'm glad that they changed that back for sure.
It's very challenging, but at the same time, it's rewarding because, like you said, it gives the people who don't have the money to spend it on the game, it gives a little chance to be able to, fight against the stronger people.
Sure, I think it definitely does help those casual players. I think that's a good point as opposed to just the alliance-based players. Which brings me to my next question, and you've kind of played this game since before these alliances were there, correct?
I would say so, yeah. Before Guild came out, but I wasn't online for a while.
Okay.
So I didn't really know a lot of the people.
Okay.
So I never really had line until I joined Immortals.
Do you think that now that you have so much experience with the alliances and you've been in them so much, do you think that forming these alliances was an inevitable part of the game? Or do you think that it could have gone a different direction and we never would have had that? And then who knows who's going to, go top 10 every week because it's all just the in-game chat. So do you think those alliance formations were all inevitable?
When we first had alliances, it worked out good because we had to down. It didn't cost a lot for top 10.
Yeah.
So it depends. Like, as long as the alliances work together and not like how 3D and EP are right now, fighting for top one and going over 100 million every episode.
Yeah.
We all work together and try and save money into our pocket.
Yep.
It would be a lot lot better.
So do you think that the
Like
alliances
when I was,
have essentially, maybe they've raised the cost of our epic wars? Do you think that that's a potential downside to these alliances right now?
with the cost of Epic Wars up now.
Well, do you think that the alliances have any? Do you think that the alliances have essentially raised the cost of epic wars? If we didn't have alliances, we
Yeah.
wouldn't have these organized runs that we have. Do you think that maybe the alliances are essentially raising the cost of the wars because of just as a result of the fact that we all organize now?
Yes, because it makes everybody want to beat each other
Yeah.
instead of working together. I
Right.
feel if we work together, we wouldn't be putting more money into Greece's pockets. We would save more money into our pockets. Essentially it would work all better for everyone.
Right. So that brings up my next question then. What can we do within our alliances to make the game better? Like, what can the alliances do better to make it more affordable, possibly, for our players? Is there anything they can do or anything that they can do better in general?
I think if all the leaders and, the alliances, formed the chat and sat there and talked to each other, I think it would be very beneficial, trying to work out something to rotate, who takes first or who takes second and third.
Right.
'Cause like I said, it would give everybody money in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. For those people who are joining us and don't know, it gets expensive because what happens is DK Empire will send somebody to go top 3, and then 3D will try to send somebody for top 3, and they're not, or maybe they go top 1, and one guild just keeps pushing the other one, and they both try to claim that spot, so it ends up forcing the cost of those runs to be very high. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, X.
I just feel we should try and work together as a team.
Yeah.
More than fighting against each other, because all it is at the end of the game, at the end of the day, is a game, and we're all here to just have fun and enjoy it.
Right.
Like there's people, dickheads in all alliances.
Right.
3D and EMP, Alpha, and all that.
Yep.
So.
Definitely. Definitely. And that's one of the things, okay, I'll just tell you this. I haven't said it on the show or anything, but I feel like every guild and every alliance is very similar in a lot of ways. That no matter what guild you're in or what alliance, you're still going to have certain players who are good people in real life, and they're very nice. And you're going to have bad players and rotten people no matter what guild and what alliance and stuff. Do you think that holds true? You've been in a lot more guilds than I have.
There's always going to be the bad people in the alliances and the good people. Like I have good friends in, the DK Empire and Alpha and, all the other alliances.
Yeah.
And there's also people that I don't like in those alliances.
Sure.
No?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this, kind of wrapping up here. What does the future hold for Majestic X and Knights and Dragons?
It's slowly coming to an end for me. I actually left all my chats last night, and I'm only in one chat still, and that's a Mortals chat.
Okay. Do you have another game that you're going to start getting into, whether it's mobile or it's console or PC, or you're just kind of going to hang loose right now? What do you got planned for, the near future?
Just focusing more on my son's schoolwork, making sure he's getting better grades, so I'm not so invested into the game as much as I was,
Yeah.
That's about,
Yeah, I understand that. Those people who have not, been involved as heavily as, a lot of us have been, it does take a lot of time and attention away from other portions of our life. So there is a point where, players will say, hey, I've given that time and now it's time to move on. So I can understand that for sure.
Yeah, it is about time to move on. I've been playing this game for quite a while now. And like I said, on weekend, not I'm invested into the raids or the wars, and sometimes it takes away from doing things with my son
Right.
because I got to be home, to be able to play.
Right. Absolutely. Hey, so on a lighter note here, we have a raid coming up this weekend. What are your prediction, or what's your prediction for the raid elements?
I hear a lot of people saying Earth, Air, who are the elements, but I'm kind of thinking Spirit, Earth. See what happens. The past few raids that have been, I think, kind of went against each other. The last one was Spirit, Fire, and then the one before that was Fire, Water. So, I think it's going to be Spirit, Earth.
Okay.
If it goes in the combination order.
Well, this time tomorrow we will know, and we'll find out if you were right. Majestic X is saying Spirit Earth. Thank you for joining us on Knights and Dolphins X, and I can't wait to see you in the game. Stop by sometimes with the Ill-Tempered Sea Bass chat and just say, hey, love to have you over there, bud.
I definitely will. Thanks for having me, Rex.